Hello ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to a new episode of Eve Echoes. Last time we discussed about solo exploration in episode 1 on what exactly is the best solo exploration ship, and we pretty much reached the conclusion that, well, the Interceptor, and not the Mark II Interceptor, the Mark I Interceptor is probably the best ship that you can use right now for a number of reasons. You can get its scan radius below 75 meters using a skill format of 554 in scanning technology with 3 gravity upgrade rigs and 1 explorer type wide scanner. So with a ship equipped with a scanner that has less than 75 meters in scan radius attribute is actually the best setup that you can find, and given the fact that the Interceptor really has the interdiction nullifier capability, this makes the Mark I Interceptor, the cheapest of interceptors, the best ship for solo exploration. Of course, that doesn't mean you can't use your Astera or your Synesis or your, I don't know, your Explorer frigate, but we've discussed in the ups and downs for each of those in our previous video. So, today, we will also have an announcement for you guys. The Mega Combo giveaways are back, which means, you get it right, we're gonna have our Community Question of the Week event back. How does that work? Well, I'm pretty much going to issue a Community Question of the Week each week, and you guys are gonna have to put a comment below in the comment section with your answer, in-game name, and character ID. To be able to participate, the giveaway will consist of 3 Omega Combo clones. The 3 winners will be picked randomly, and I will announce the winners themselves on the next iteration of the event, which will be next week when we will launch yet another question. To find out more about today's question, stick around until the end of the video, because for now we will be diving into episode 2 of Solo Exploration, and this time we're going to tackle the importance of the hacking modules. What types of cans can they open? We'll also be talking about the sites themselves, the relic and data sites, their composition, and of course, what are the best sites that you should be looking for. So here we go. Let's start off by looking at the modules themselves, the one that you will be using for hacking purposes. Because once you search and scan and manage to narrow down, of course, warp to the data and relic sites, the ones that interest you most, because these are the sites that you want to explore and to collect their loot. You'll be needing the items combined with the skills that you have in hacking in order to be able to collect said loot. So the hacking modules sit in the market category inside mid slots down below to the space detection modules. We're just going to minimize the scanners themselves, and we have 2 types of devices. We've got the Data Analyzer and we've got the Relic Analyzer. There's one important attribute you need to look for when deciding which scanner you want to use, aside from the fact that they get more expensive as the value for that attribute increases. The attribute that you're looking for is the analysis strength. And this is bottom one right there. And for the Mark IX Data Analyzer, it says analysis strength 2. We have the Mark V Data Analyzer, which has an analysis strength of 1, and this grows as we progress towards the storyline items. We've got the Seeker Data Analyzer, which has an analysis strength of 3, and we have the Ultimate Analyzer, which is the Guest's Data Analyzer with an analysis strength of 4. But what does this mean? Well, inside each of the data and relic sites, you'll be finding loot containers that you need to activate these modules on. And the loot containers are themselves named and have a different difficulty of hacking. If the difficulty of the said container is higher than the analysis strength of your item, you will be unable to even activate the module on it. It will throw out an error saying that your analyzer is not capable of hacking this container, and you'll have to move on, unfortunately. The same rule applies for the relic analyzers. We've got the Mark V that has analysis strength 1 up to the Gravedigger Relic Analyzer, which has an analysis strength of 4, and which is the most expensive. It's close to 350 million ISK. So if you really want to get to the most juicy relic and data sites, you probably need the best items of each type, meaning you'll need the guest data analyzer and the gravedigger analyzer. Now there's one more attribute on all of these items that I'm really not happy with, but since this is game mechanic, we'll have to cover it anyway. What I'm referring to is the analysis success rate, and it's pretty low. There's no way to increase this success rate by rigs or by anything else except skills. And you guessed it right, it also increases along with the grade of the item that you have. For example, a Mark 7 Relic Analyzer will have an analysis success rate of just 5.5, while the Gravedigger will have an analysis success rate of 8%. With hacking skills in 5.5.4, this is currently what I have, and with the best analyzer of each type, I have 24% analyzer success rate, which is not very good, is it? This means that there are around 75% chances of you failing to collect the loot from inside the loot containers in any given site. Even with almost full skills, there's still a chance that one of those cans might blow up and you will not get anything from it. In my opinion, this is a pretty bad mechanic, at least for standard sites. Maybe it would be justified for, I don't know, for special sites like event sites related to data and relic exploration. I don't know, considering the rarity of the spawning of said sites, the best sites that is, just having them blow up in your face is pretty disheartening, and I don't think it's a very good mechanic. But we'll probably touch on this in, I don't know, another ranting video at one point. For now, let's try to understand what are these data and relic sites. Well, first of all, the data analyzer needs to be used inside data sites, while the relic analyzers need to be used inside relic sites. But how can you differentiate one from another? Well, pretty easy. Once you grow in experience, you'll be able to determine from the name of the space signature that you've just scanned down if it's a data site or if it's a relic site. But until you get there, it's much easier to determine them by the contents inside each site, most precisely the naming of the loot containers. The data site will have containers named the following: Info Shard, which is the easiest of the loot containers, the Com Tower, which is also fairly easy, the mainframe, which starts to be getting more difficult in hacking, and the last one is the data bank loot container, and it's the hardest of them all to open. Same can be said for the relic sites, but this time the containers are named the following. You have the debris type container, which is the easiest of them all. You have the rubble type container, which is also fairly easy. Then you've got the remains, which are increasingly difficult, and then the ruins type of container, which are the hardest to crack. But Chico, you might ask, what do you mean by increase in difficulty of the loot containers? Well, it's pretty simple. The lowest grade containers have 17 attempts that you can use in order to try to hack that container using your module. You've got that success rate with 5.4 skills and with the base analysis success chance per each of the modules. Of course, let's consider you have the best modules. You'll be hacking the containers with a 24% chance of success. The lowest grade containers, relic and data sites alike, have 17 tries. I've had instances where I actually failed even the lowest grade containers using the 24% chance of success. And I guess you can easily understand what I'm about to say next and why this is a dumb mechanic. Because the next grade in loot container is like the Com Tower for data sites and the rubble for the relic site. You've got 15 attempts of hacking. If you fail, of course, after 15 attempts of hacking using your modules, the containers will explode and you won't get any damage, but you will lose whatever was inside of them, and you have no way of knowing what you lost because we have no cargo container modules like in EVE Online where you can actually scan the containers and determine if it's even worth the time to try to open that up. So you just go to your containers, you activate the modules, and hope for the best. The next difficulty in data sites is the mainframe, and in the relic sites is the remains type containers. These types of containers have 11 attempts in total, and the last ones, the data bank in data sites and the ruins in relic sites, have just 8 attempts for you to hack that container. I've had attempts on the lowest grades of containers like the info shards and debris, which have 17 tries. I was able to hack successfully on the 16th attempt. So it's a pretty good indication that you'll probably lose plenty of those highest grade of containers. But I guess it all comes down to RNG and how lucky you feel yourself the night you start roaming. So what can we expect to find in the data sites and in the relic site respectively? Well, the data sites contain data cores, you know, the cores that you can use for reverse engineering, the decryptors, which can also be used on reverse engineering. If you don't know what decryptors are, here they are. They give you different time efficiency and material efficiencies based on their grade, and you can actually see that the coloring of the items themselves indicate that. The most expensive ones being the one worth 200 million and one worth almost 50 million. These prices might have been updated after today's downtime. And of course, aside from data cores and decryptors, in data sites you can also find blue rig materials. But not all of them. For some reason I wasn't able to find in my tests 1 or 2 of the items present on the market. I'm guessing they're not yet introduced in the game, but I did find the other ones, and the integrated hulls are pretty damn expensive, and they're actually worth every penny if you find them. On the other side, in relic sites, you don't find much except rig blueprints. This is the predominant item type that we will be finding inside relic sites. I didn't find anything else, but the rig blueprints themselves are quite okay if you find high grade relic sites, because you will be finding inside ruins type container, and of course in remains type container, type 3 rig blueprints. Yeah, the most expensive ones. And if you happen to stumble upon the correct blueprints, because not all rigs are pretty expensive, like for example capacity control circuit is expensive, you might be hitting jackpot. Well, how do you know that you found a good site to begin with? Well, during scanning you'll notice that the unknown signature you're about to investigate will require a view to exclude 3 noise signals, and the waveform will be the most difficult one, which is the zigzag one. This is the most absurd and obscene because it mixes all the signals together and it warps them, it deforms them, and it's pretty difficult to understand which of the noise signals you need to exclude in order to complete the minigame. But there's some hints and there's some indications, and of course there's some pretty obvious stuff. I've covered all of these topics in my scanning tutorial. You can go and check that out if you like. So you get one of these signatures, you have 3 noise signals to exclude, you have the zigzag waveform, and that's the big indication that you've stumbled upon a high quality site. Now, it may be a dead space, it may be a nihilous dead space, but it may be one of the highest grade relic and data sites. Now, the relic and data sites, there's quite a bucket of them, because there's 20 types of data sites for each of the 5 NPC factions. You had that correct. 20 types of relic sites, 20 types of data sites for each of the 5 NPC factions, which is the Angels, the Sancha, the Blood Raiders, the Gristas, and the Serpentis. But the highest grade sites have a specific name that I want you guys to remember. The best data sites are named Central Data Processing. Of course, there's another keyword inside there that will give out the specific pirate faction for which this data site belongs to. For example, you can have Gristas Central Data Processing site, or you can have Serpentis Central Data Site. And this specific data site has 1 comm tower, 2 mainframes, and 4 data banks. This is the layout of the loot containers inside the best data site. Now, for the relic site, the best site is called Ruined Crystal Quarry, and of course it will contain the name of the pirate faction for which it belongs to. And the site, the Ruined Crystal Quarry, always contains 3 ruins, 3 remains, and 1 rubble. These sites have a scan radius of 75 meters, so you actually need a scan radius on your scanner to be less than 75 meters in order to be able to scan them, not to identify them, but to scan them, because if you don't have a 75 meters scan radius on your scanner, when you hit that scan button, you will not even get them in the list of scan results. And of course, for the high quality sites, you see that the predominant number of loot containers is attributed to the highest difficulty rated loot container, which is the data bank for the data site and the ruins for the relic site. And you need the highest grade items to hack them. For the data sites, you need the guest's data analyzer, because as mentioned earlier, they are linked with the data analysis strength, meaning you cannot open a data bank if you don't have analysis strength 4 on your data analyzer. Or similar, you cannot open the ruin boxes with an item that has an analysis strength less than 4 on the relic analyzer. So that's pretty much on part 2 of the solo exploration guide. If you're preparing to go out and to seek for these sites, there's a French saying for this: bon chance et bon voyage. It means good luck and Godspeed. On part 3, we will be touching about the sites themselves for each of the pirate entities, which is more profitable to explore. Are the sites of one pirate faction more profitable than the others, or it's all just RNG? Tune in on episode 3 and you'll find out exactly that. But until then, we have our community question of the week, as we've reached that part of the video in which we get to start our giveaway. If you've seen the developer roundtable that can be found on the Eve Echoes YouTube channel, you've probably noticed that the developers actually admitted to some mistakes, thank God for that, and that they're willing to improve and to provide more quality content. So this takes us to this week's community question of the week, which is: do you think that the developers learned from their mistakes and will provide us with quality content in the future? Please comment below and let me know. Do drop your answer in the comment, plus your in-game name and your character ID, and tune in next week on the next iteration of the community question of the week event to find out if you won, and of course to participate in the next one. We got 3 Omega combos to give to 3 lucky
We'll also be talking
players.
about.
That's it for today. I hope you guys learned something.
We'll also
Thank
be
you guys for
talking
watching,
about
and a
the
very
sites
shout out to my channel
themselves,
supporters.
the relic
I'll see
and
you
data
guys
sites
next
next
time.
time.
Composition,
Cheers.
and of course,